It's 3 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling, pillow half over your face, and your dog is losing their mind again. You've already gotten up twice. You've tried shushing, you've tried ignoring, you've even tried the thing you saw on that forum at midnight. Nothing works. And the worst part? You have to be up in 4 hours. This isn't just a sleep problem. It's eroding something, your patience, your bond with your dog, your belief that this will ever change. Here's what nobody's told you yet. Your dog isn't barking to torture you. There's a specific trigger, and once you find it, the nights change fast. Let us talk about what's actually happening when your dog barks all night, because I think most of the advice out there completely misses the point. It tells you to ignore the barking, or to get a bark collar, or to just wait it out. And if you've tried any of those things, you already know they do not work, or they make things worse, or they work for one night and then your dog comes back louder. The reason those fixes fail is because they treat the symptom. The barking is not the problem. The barking is a signal. And until you understand what your dog is actually trying to communicate in the middle of the night, you are just playing whack-a-mole with an exhausted brain at 2 a.m. In this video, I am going to walk you through the 4 most common nighttime triggers. And yes, one of them is almost certainly what's happening in your house. Then I am going to give you a 3-night protocol that addresses the root cause, not just the noise. I've seen this work for dogs that have been barking through the night for months, not as a magic trick, but as a process that actually makes sense once you understand why dogs do this. If you are running on 3 hours of sleep and you are at the edge of your patience, you are in the right place. Let us get into it. Before we go anywhere, I need you to understand one thing. Your dog is not barking at night because they are bad. They're not doing it out of spite. Dogs do not have that kind of agenda. What they have is a nervous system that responds to triggers. And at night, when the house is quiet and dark and still, those triggers hit differently than they do during the day. Think about it from your dog's perspective for a second. The world gets quiet. The humans disappear into a room. The sounds outside, a car, a fox, a neighbor's door, become the loudest thing in the environment. And your dog's job, the job that is literally wired into them across thousands of years, is to notice those things and respond. That's where we start. Trigger 1. Alert barking from environmental sounds. This is the most common nighttime trigger, and it is the one people most often misdiagnose as separation anxiety. Here's how you tell the difference. Alert barking usually starts suddenly, often mid-sleep, and it has a sharp, rapid quality to it. Your dog hears something, a car outside, an animal in the yard, a sound from a neighbor, and they react. The reason this gets worse at night is simple. During the day, there's ambient noise everywhere. The TV, the kids, traffic, conversation. That background noise actually masks a lot of environmental sounds. At night, when the house goes quiet, your dog's hearing becomes incredibly sensitive. Sounds that would be completely irrelevant during the day become significant events at 2 a.m. The fix here is not to silence your dog. It's to reduce the salience of those triggers. White noise machines placed near windows and doors are genuinely one of the most underrated tools for nighttime barking. Not loud, just enough to blur the edges of outside sounds. You're not blocking your dog's hearing. You're lowering the contrast between silence and sound, which lowers the reactive threshold. Second thing, if your dog sleeps near a window, move them. The visual trigger of movement outside, headlights, shadows, animals, compounds the audio. A dog who cannot see the street and can barely hear the car is a dog with fewer reasons to bark. Trigger 2. Separation anxiety and attachment-based barking *. This one is different. If your dog's nighttime barking started when you changed something, moved them out of the bedroom, got a new schedule, had a baby, moved houses, this is likely what you are dealing with. Separation anxiety barking tends to be more sustained and more distressed. It's not sharp bursts. It's a continuous, escalating sound that doesn't stop when the trigger does, because the trigger is you being absent. Your dog isn't reacting to the outside world. They're reacting to the inside world, specifically, the feeling that they've been abandoned. Short start here's what makes this harder. Every time you go back in to check on them, you are actually teaching them that barking works. You might feel like you are comforting them, and in the short term you are, but you are also reinforcing the behavior. The dog learns, if I bark long enough, they come. So they bark longer next time. This is not a character flaw in your dog. It's just how learning works. The protocol for separation anxiety barking is gradual distance training. You do not fix this in one night. What you do is systematically teach your dog that distance from you is safe. You start by making your presence in the room intermittent. You leave. You come back before they bark. You reward the calm. You build duration slowly. It takes days, sometimes weeks, but the curve is real, and it moves in your favor faster than you'd expect once the dog starts to understand that your absence doesn't mean danger. Short end trigger 3. Unmet physical needs. This one is the easiest to fix, and it is. The one people feel most embarrassed about when they realize it. Sometimes dogs bark at night because they need to go outside, or because they are too hot, or because they are genuinely uncomfortable. A crate that's too small, a bed that's on a cold floor, an empty water bowl. I want you to do an honest audit here. Is your dog getting enough physical exercise during the day? A dog that hasn't burned real energy by evening is going to hit the night with reserves that have nowhere to go. Nighttime barking from a physically understimulated dog is almost always a daytime problem. The solution happens before the sun goes down. Aim for real aerobic activity, not just a slow walk around the block. Something that actually tires them out. Fetch, running, active play. The kind of exercise that leaves them genuinely spent by 8 p.m. You'll often see an immediate shift in nighttime behavior within 2 or 3 days of increasing daytime activity. Also check the sleep environment itself. Is it comfortable? Is it too hot or cold? Is there a reason your dog might physically not be able to settle? These are boring questions, but they have fast answers. Trigger 4. Learned behavior. The reinforcement loop. This is the trigger that develops when one of the other 3 has been going on for a while. At some point, barking stopped being about the original trigger and started being a habit, a conditioned behavior. Your dog has learned, through hundreds of repetitions, that barking at night produces something. Maybe you come in. Maybe you yell, which is still attention. Maybe they get let into your bed. Whatever the outcome, it has been reinforced. The honest truth about this trigger is that it is the hardest to work through because your dog isn't barking for a specific reason anymore. They're barking because that's what they do at night. The trigger is the night itself. Breaking a learned behavior loop requires what trainers call an extinction process, systematically removing the reinforcement while simultaneously building a new, incompatible behavior. The incompatible behavior you are building is settling. Quiet, rest. You do this with a combination of ignoring the barking completely, and I mean completely, no eye contact, no sounds, no going in, rewarding any period of quiet proactively, and making the sleep environment as calm and comfortable as possible so the dog has something better to do than bark. The first night of true extinction is usually the hardest. The barking gets worse before it gets better. This is called an extinction burst, and it is your dog essentially testing the new rule harder. If you break here, if you give in on night 1, you've just taught your dog to bark harder and longer. Hold the line. The 3-night protocol. Night 1. Identify your trigger category. Go through the 4 above and be honest with yourself about which one fits your situation. Get the sleep environment set up. White noise if it is environmental. Comfort check if it is physical, established sleeping spot if it is anxiety. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick the one most likely culprit and address that specifically. Also, and this is critical, do not respond to barking with anything that could be interpreted as attention. That means no going in, no calling out, no sounds from your side of the door. This is hard. I know it is hard, but every response teaches something. Night 2, you should start to see either improvement or a clearer picture of what's driving it. If the barking is shorter, less intense, or starts later in the night, you've found the right lever. Keep going. If it got significantly worse with no sign of breaking, you may be in extinction burst territory, which is actually good news. it means the reinforcement loop is weakening. Night 3, most dogs that are responding to this protocol show measurable improvement by night 3. Not silence necessarily, but shorter episodes, less intensity, faster return to calm. The trajectory matters more than perfection. You're not looking for your dog to never make a sound. You're looking for a trend line moving in the right direction. If you are past night 3 and nothing has shifted, that's important information too. It usually means the anxiety component is stronger than you realized. Or there's a medical issue worth ruling out: pain, cognitive changes in older dogs, or something in the environment you haven't identified yet. A vet check is never a wrong move when behavioral changes are sudden or severe. What about punishment-based approaches? I want to address this directly because when you are sleep-deprived and desperate, bark collars and other aversive tools start to look appealing. I get it, but here's what actually happens. Punishment suppresses the barking without addressing the underlying cause. The anxiety doesn't go away, it just finds another outlet. Or it gets worse because now your dog is not only anxious about being alone, they are also anticipating something unpleasant. That combination creates dogs with much more serious behavioral problems down the line. The science on this is pretty clear. Aversive training for fear-based or anxiety-based behaviors increases arousal and stress. And stress is the exact opposite of what you need your dog to feel at 11 p.m. when you are trying to get everyone settled. The approach I've walked you through, identifying the real trigger, adjusting the environment, building a calm association with nighttime, and removing reinforcement for barking takes a few days. That's real. But it produces a dog who actually understands what you need from them at night, not just a dog who's been scared into silence. If you've made it this far, you are clearly someone who actually wants to understand what's happening with their dog, not just survive another night. And that matters. Because the difference between an owner who punishes their way through this and one who takes the time to figure out the real trigger is the difference between a dog who stays anxious and a dog who genuinely learns to feel safe at night. That's the goal here. Not just quiet nights, though yes, please, those too. It's a dog who trusts that nighttime is calm, that the world isn't a threat, that you are still there even when you are not in the room. If this helped you, the best thing you can do right now is start tonight. Pick the trigger that fits your situation, make the one environmental change that addresses it, and commit to 3 nights. Come back and let this video sit in your watch history. You might want to rewatch the protocol section once you've had some sleep. And if you want to go deeper on nighttime anxiety specifically, the next video walks through the full separation anxiety framework step by step. Thanks for watching. If you loved this video, scan the QR code on the screen right now to subscribe and join the Pawsome Life family. Give your dog a belly rub for us, and we will see you in the next video.